Hey everybody, I'm Deborah Richmond. We're looking at a Churn Dash quilt today. Behind me, this is a fall colors quilt. This is a very simple block to make, and we're going to be looking at the block today on how to construct it. These are it's a very traditional pattern, the Churn Dash quilt block, and it is also very easy to make. So let's get started. So to begin working on the Churn Dash block, it's important to know that it is made of three different types of units. We have our corners, which are half square triangles. We have our blocks that are in the middle that are two wide strips. And then we have our center block here. The center block, it's nice to use a focus fabric, maybe something that's a larger print. It looks nice in here. You can also fussy cut different pretty prints so that you have just the sections you want right in the middle. But let me show you the units. So these are the units we need to put together. So we're going to start with the center block. The center block is simply cutting a square that is 4.5 inches square. Next we're going to put these units together, the two strips. Now what we're going to do to begin with is we are going to start by cutting long strips of fabric. Cut one strip out of the block fabric and one strip out of the background fabric. We're going to sew these together, and this is what we're going to cut our units from. So here's the strips, and we've sewn them together. When you open this up, you're going to want to press it. I'm going to open it up. You always want to press your seam to the dark side. As I'm finger pressing it here, you're going to take it to an iron, press that seam down, and open it up, and we're going to be ready to cut units out of this. So again, these strips are 2.5 inches wide, and now we're going to cut from this unit, we're going to cut 4.5 inch units. So we're going to go ahead and take our ruler and we're going to start cutting. And we're going to need 4 of those units. Okay, so the next unit we want to assemble is the half square triangle. Now I'm going to show you a tool that is really helpful in creating this half square triangle. To create the half square triangles, we're going to start with 2 squares. You're going to cut one from the background and one from the block fabric. Each one is going to be 4 7/8 inches square. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those 2 pieces and we are going to stack them on top of each other, right sides together, lining them up. We are now going to be marking our sewing lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, this is called the Quilters Magic Wand. I'm going to put this right across the square so that the corners touch on this center line that is on the ruler. And I'm going to take just a regular pencil and I'm going to draw a faint line on either side of it. This is a 1/2 inch ruler is what this is. And so what we're going to be doing is sewing on those 2 lines that we've drawn here. Now you can just use a regular pencil because this is on the wrong side of the fabric. No one's ever going to see that. So now you can see we have sewn those lines that we had previously drawn on. And we're going to now be cutting with our rotary cutter. We're just going to cut right down the middle. You can use a ruler if you like, or you can just simply freehand it, but you're just going to very carefully just cut right down the middle. So you see now what you end up with are half square triangles. And you're going to end up with 2 half square triangles for every 2 squares of fabric. We're going to need 4 of these units for our block. Now that we have all of our units, it's simply a matter of assembling them and sewing them together. Let me get them assembled. Okay, so we're going to start with this top row. I'm going to take these 2 blocks, sew them together here, and then add the 3rd block, sew it together. I'm going to then start with the 2nd row, sew these 2 blocks together, and then add this 3rd block on this side of the square. And then the 3rd row, same as the first, sew these 2 together, and then we're going to add this. That will leave you with 3 rows that are all sewn together. Now you're simply going to take these back to the sewing machine, and starting with this strip, you're going to line it up with the 2nd row, and you're going to sew the seams right here. And the same thing here. And what you end up with is your Churn Dash block. This is a very traditional block. It's been around for a really long time. It's a very versatile block, and it's very easy, so it's very popular. You can create a quilt using the fall colors that this quilt has been done in, or you can also use 30s fabrics. You could use all pastels, you could go with batiks, whatever it is that is your favorite. Once you have these blocks sewn together, they create a 12-inch block, and in this quilt we have 3 in a row, and in between each row, each block, we have sashing. The sashing is a combination of brown strips and then squares of print fabric. So you're going to cut 12-inch strips of brown and a 2.5-inch square of print for these borders. This quilt is very much for beginners, and it is also a really nice one for intermediate sewers. If you're looking for something that is quick and easy, give it a try. Thanks for joining me. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can do so here by clicking the subscribe button. That way you'll find out about new videos as they become available.